Welcome to this session on mindfulness and compassion meditations. We'll start with our mindfulness meditation that has three phases of grounding, and then what's called close placement, or holding our mind close to us, particularly focusing on the internal sensation of the breathing, and then environmental mindfulness, awareness of our perceptions, but it's the internal and external environment. So our thoughts and feelings, as well as perceptions of the so-called external world. Then we'll switch over and do the practice of compassion, starting with self-compassion, and then extending that to others in wider and wider circles. So, to begin with, let's get grounded. Get a good posture. You're sitting in a chair. Ideally, we do this in a sitting position so that if we're lying down, we tend to fall asleep. If we're standing up, we tend to get antsy and move around. So we're putting ourselves in neutral, and that's a sitting position. Whether you're on a cushion or a chair, it's good not to be leaning back, and you'll likely get sleepy. It's better for our breathing if we can maintain an upright posture, upright but not rigid. So I like to slide my butt back on the seat of the chair until it's against the back or against the cushion behind there, and then not be leaning back against the chair but sitting straight up. We want our feet either flat on the floor or loosely crossed in front of us around the ankles, towards the ankles. The idea is that it's less of a strain if our knees are level with or even slightly below our hip level. Arms, just let hang to your sides. Leave the elbows where they are and just swivel your hands up, either palm down on each thigh just behind the knees, or you can put them one on top of the other, palm up, in your lap. We want to feel like our spine is extending gently upward, like a tent pole, and let the rest of our body hang like canvas from that tent pole. And if you feel like the back of your head, or like your neck gets a little longer, the back of your neck gets a little longer, your chin will naturally come in. And that produces a very nice flow. We want to be inhaling through our nose and have it go down, feel it go down. And it'll be a feeling of filling our torso, even though we're really filling our lungs. The feeling of filling our torso is because breathing in happens because our diaphragm at the base of our torso goes down, at the base of our lungs, and it goes down, and that to pull the air into our lungs. So it feels like it's going all the way deep into our torso. And then that comes up to push the air out. We want to breathe in through our nostrils, if possible, and breathing out mainly through the nostrils, but it's okay if a little bit comes out through your slightly parted lips. We want our eyes to be gazing downward at about a 45-degree angle. And wherever your eyes rest, don't grab onto that spot with your vision, don't fixate on that, but just let your eyes rest there and then open up your peripheral vision. Just, we call it softening your gaze. So soften your gaze. And be aware of the air coming in and out, how your body's moving. Let your eyes gently close. And scan from the top of your head down. Just being aware of any tension that you have that you don't need to hold your posture. We have to have some muscular tension to hold our posture, but anything else is extra. We're going to let our awareness just melt that or sweep it away. From the top of your head, forehead, eyes, ears, back of your head, cheekbones, and your jaw. Wiggle your jaw a little bit just to loosen it up. We have a lot more tension there than we usually realize. If you want, you can do the intensify and release practice of clenching tightly your jaw for 2 or 3 seconds and then just letting go. That contrast of intensifying, then the releasing, you really feel what letting go means. Your neck, shoulders, out to the points of your shoulders, over and back from your collarbone to your shoulder blades, that whole area. Just let your shoulders hang there. There's so much tension now, especially the amount of time we spend on our computers. Just let your shoulders hang. If you need to, you can intensify, clench your shoulders tightly for 2 or 3 seconds, and then just let drop. Don't push them down, just let go and let them drop. Chest, upper back, upper arms, rib cage all around, lower back and deep belly. Again, often find tension in our deep belly that we don't realize, and just let it be, or intensify for 2 or 3 seconds and release. Hips and pelvis, thighs and hamstrings, forearms and hands, knees, calves, ankles, and feet. Just let any tension that you don't need to hold your posture melt. If you'd like, you can take a nice full breath in, start at the top of your head, and just sweep it all out as you breathe out. Well, we usually think of our awareness, our mind, as being located, if we have a location anywhere in our body, it's right up there behind our forehead, between our eyes, behind our forehead. But that's just because it feels like that, because we have so many perceptions connected to our face, our eyes, ears, nose, mouth. Let your awareness drift. Let it fall back and down, as if your awareness was falling into a big easy chair or sofa. Just falling back and down. Now let it drift down the back of your throat, down behind your chest, down behind your solar plexus, like a leaf gently settling to the bottom of the palm, behind your stomach, behind your navel, resting in the deep core of your torso, a few inches below the navel, just in front of your spine. You can feel your torso expanding and contracting around that area, like gentle currents at the bottom of that palm. It's quiet down there. Just let your awareness rest quietly down. Now, with each out breath, let yourself settle deeper into the chair, or the seat that you're sitting on, the cushion you're sitting on. settle down, and imagine that you're sinking down and merging with the earth. Breathe out, sink down, and merge with the earth so that your lower body is part of the earth. That's as grounded as you can be. I sometimes think of times when I was at the beach, dug a hole and sat in it and brought the sand all around up to my waist, feeling like you're part of the earth. But your upper body extends upward majestically like a mountain. Let your body feel that grounded and solid like a mountain. Tune into your breathing as an observer rather than a director. Just let the breath come and go like the wind. Let your mind be open to whatever you're going to experience in the next few minutes, with an open curiosity, not looking for anything particular, like the sky that looks over everything on earth without partiality or judgment. Body like a mountain, breath like the wind, mind like the sky. Let your eyes open gently, about halfway, so that, again, you're looking diagonally just under your eyelids with a soft gaze, aware of the space around you, just a few feet in all directions around you. Aware of your body, and notice the sensation within your body, feeling like you're filling with air as you breathe in, feeling like you're emptying as you breathe out. That sensation of filling and emptying will be the object of our attention for the next few minutes. Filling as you breathe in, emptying as you breathe out. And remember, you're observing the breath coming in rather than you breathing it in. And observing the breath going out rather than you pushing it out. Well, the mind does tend to wander into the past and the future and elsewhere in the present, creating a little daydream. When you realize it, at that moment, you're already back. You're already in the here and now. Like waking up from a nighttime dream. At that moment, have a sense of humor, smile. And you can think daydreaming or that was wandering. Just a little mental label to punctuate the difference between daydreaming and wakefulness. And after your labeling, tune into your posture. Sometimes as we're daydreaming, it tends to degrade and you're leaning one direction or the other or tilted forward. Just sit up straight again and return to awareness of the breathing, filling and emptying. We'll do that for a few minutes. If you've gotten a little drowsy, just sit up a little straighter, raise your gaze, look a little straighter ahead, take a nice full breath, and then continue to practice. If your mind feels very busy, you can focus in a little more detailed way of noticing the phases of starting to fill, filling and full, a gap, and then starting to empty, emptying and empty, and gap. Starting to fill, filling and full, starting to empty, emptying, and we'll just do a minute more. Now raise your gaze to look straight ahead. And again, open your eyes. You're looking in a particular direction, but don't fixate on a spot. Just soften your gaze and open up even further to your full peripheral vision, side to side, up and down. Open your vision. We'll open our hearing. We'll open our sense perceptions in all directions. Notice what's in your field of vision. You can move your awareness around without moving your eyes. Just notice colors, shapes, and shades of light and dark. Brighter light coming through a window or a lamp, darker in the corners. Colors, shapes, rectangles, triangles, circles, curves of all kinds. Tune into your hearing. You can hear my voice coming through the device, spaces between words, between the phrases. Listen for sounds in all directions, near and far, loud and soft, high and low. Feel your bodily sensations. Cool, dry air coming in your nostrils, warm, moist air going out. Your sit bones pressing into the seat, feet pressing into the floor. The air on the skin of your hands and face. You might feel your heart beating in your chest or as your pulse in fingertips, wrists, or neck. If there are smells in the room, notice what you're smelling. If you ate something recently, notice what you're tasting. These are the five senses that we're familiar with. The sixth sense, our sixth perception, is perceiving our own thoughts. Turn your awareness to your own thoughts. Watch for the next thought that appears. Notice how it arises in your mind, dwells for a moment, disappears. Notice what feels like a stream of thoughts as one following another. And for the next minute or so, you're free to let your mind wander among the sense perceptions, because they're all happening in the here and now. Sight, sound, bodily sensations, feelings, smell, taste, and thoughts. Now, if those thoughts take you away into a daydream, when you wake up, you're already back. Just smile, think daydreaming, and be aware of the breath going out into the environment and tune into your perceptions. Good. So that's our session of mindfulness, grounding, close placement, and environmental perception. You may have noticed when you were doing the environmental perceptions that your mind goes from one to another, but in the tradition, what meditators for a couple thousand years discovered is that the mind is like a monkey in a room with six windows, and it can only look out one window at a time. So if you're focused on what you're seeing, all the other perceptions go to the background. If you're focused on what you're hearing, feeling, whatever you're focused on, all the other perceptions go to the background. Now, in the same way, if you're focused on what you're thinking, all the other perceptions go to the background. So when you're taken away into a daydream, you miss everything else that's going on. Now, let's get started on the compassion meditation. We'll do the compassion meditation beginning with self-compassion, and then extending it to others in a wider and wider circle. So again, take your good posture, and this time it's up to you whether you leave your eyes open or closed. Certainly for this first part of self-compassion, if your eyes are open, have your gaze downward, again at about a 45-degree angle, or let your eyes be closed. And imagine in your heart center, which is at the center of your chest at heart level, a beautiful clear crystal. It can be any shape that you'd like, but it's clear crystal made of light. And it has incredible transformative powers. Anything negative that is absorbed into the crystal is instantly transformed into positive energy. So if we have something that we're unhappy about ourselves, like feeling blame, we gather that blame into the crystal and it immediately transforms into forgiveness. We breathe in frustration and it immediately transforms into contentment. So what we'll do is, as we breathe in, any negative feelings that you have about yourself, toward yourself, any physical sensations that you are unpleasant, that you're unhappy having, anything in your body, your mind, your sense of being that you're feeling that is unwanted, that is negative toward yourself. We're going to practice self-compassion by, as we breathe in, gather that from all parts of your being into your crystal. It immediately transforms into the opposite positive energy. And that positive energy radiates out like the cool moonlight of kindness and fills your being with those positive qualities. Breathe in frustration, it transforms and radiate out the cool moonlight of contentment. Breathe in feelings of illness, it transforms and radiates out the cool moonlight of healthiness. As you breathe in, gather all the negativity in your being into the crystal. As you breathe out, it radiates and fills your being with all the positive energy and qualities that are the opposite of those unwanted feelings and experiences. And we'll do that for a couple of minutes. Whatever form those negative energies take, images, colors, light, smoke, however you imagine those feelings, that's what you're gathering, and maybe abstract. Whatever you're imagining for those negative feelings and experiences, gather them into the crystal that way, then instantly transform and radiate out as that cool moonlight all the positive qualities: forgiveness, happiness, kindness, patience, relief, ease, peace. As you breathe in, gather just the quality of struggle. Struggle with all of these feelings and experiences that you're having. The struggle of not wanting them. The struggle of trying to get out of them. Breathe in that feeling of struggle and breathe out relaxation and peace to yourself. No one wants to struggle. Everyone wants to feel peace. Now, let's extend that to others. Again, you can leave your eyes closed or open them. If you open them, look straight ahead and imagine that around you are gathered all of your loved ones, all your friends and family. They also have negative feelings toward themselves. They also have experiences, quite possibly illnesses, that they don't want to have. And you are going to take them from them. As you breathe in, gather all of their negativity towards themselves into the crystal in your heart. You're doing this for them. Breathe in, gather it into the crystal. It instantly transforms into the opposite positive qualities and radiates out as the cool moonlight of kindness that fills all of their beings with those opposite positive qualities. Breathe in and gather all of their suffering and struggle. It transforms and radiates out that cool moonlight of kindness that fills all of them with happiness and peace. Breathe in the negativity. It transforms in the crystal in your heart center. Breathe out and radiate out relief, calm, ease. Breathe in struggle, radiate out peace. And now expand that circle to include anyone you've ever met or even heard of. People you like, people you don't have particular feelings about, people you dislike. They all share the same unhappiness, illness, and struggle in their lives that they don't want. Gather that in as you breathe in into the crystal in your heart. It transforms and radiates out the cool moonlight of kindness to all of them, relieving them of the struggle, illness, and unhappiness, filling them with peace, health, and happiness. Now, as you do this for people that you don't like, some negative feelings may arise in yourself, feelings that you don't particularly want to have. Gather those in as you gather in their negativity. Gather your own negativity and their negativity into the crystal in your heart and radiate out that cool moonlight to yourself and others at the same time. Don't neglect yourself. You should and can include yourself whenever you're gathering in negativity and radiating out those positive qualities to yourself and to others. And as best you can, include all beings all people in the world, all creatures, great and small, everywhere. They all have suffering and struggle and deal with illness. As you breathe in, as best you can, gather the negativity of the entire world, the entire universe, into the crystal in your heart. It can accommodate all of that and transforms it instantly and radiate out, filling the universe with peace, health, and happiness. Now let go of the visualization. Let your gaze come down a bit if your eyes are open. And just return to awareness of filling and emptying, awareness of your body and your breathing. 2 or 3 breaths. And then relax. People have asked, we'll do a little discussion for the next couple of minutes. And again, if you have a chat, just put your name in the chat box and or the word question. Your name will show up. Just put the word question, and I'll unmute you, or ask you to unmute. But one of the things that people have asked is, you know what? Why am I doing this for people that I think are really bad people, or people I don't like? Well, their bad actions are coming out of their own misery, their own struggle. You know, we say misery loves company. Well, people who are miserable make others miserable too, even if they don't know that's what they're doing. People who are angry towards themselves send that anger out towards others. All these negative qualities that they're having, if we were able to relieve them of those negative qualities, they would be much nicer people. So it benefits the whole world to free them from their unhappiness. Besides it being a good thing to make other people happy. And it's particularly interesting to see what it provokes in us when we tune into those others. And so it's a great opportunity to do our own practice for ourselves and see what anger or hatred we're holding towards others. Because, and especially resentment, to me, that's the greatest poison. But holding anger and holding hatred and holding resentment to others, it eats us away. I like the expression that I've heard in many circles. It's like taking poison and hoping that the other person dies. It's like wanting to burn the other person, so you reach into the fireplace and scoop up a handful of embers to throw at them. Well, it may hit them, but you for sure will get burned. So this practice is much more effective in working with our own feelings towards others and ideally making the world a better place by wishing that others don't have as much suffering. Well, I don't see any questions or comments. The only other thing that I wanted to share with you all is this, the importance of a sense of humor. That sometimes our minds are just going a mile a minute. And when that happens, rather than struggling with them, we have a saying, feel it, but don't feed it. Any negative emotions or being overwhelmed by thoughts, feel what you're experiencing, but don't fuel it or feed it. And if you find those thoughts are just running on, do what's called reverse meditation. Just sit and say, I think I'm just going to look at the patterns that are going through my mind and watch. And you may have found that as we were doing the practice, when I said, watch for the next thought that appears, nothing was there at that moment. So that's why it's a reverse meditation. As you watch that stream of thoughts, it naturally quiets. And if it doesn't, it gives you the opportunity to learn the patterns. Learn the patterns that are going on. How much am I preoccupied with this, that, or the other thing? How much am I preoccupied with what's happening in my finances, my relationship, my work, my golf game? So that's our session of mindfulness, the grounding practice, the close placement, and the environmental mindfulness, and the compassion practice of self-compassion and compassion for others. And when we conclude our session, we dedicate whatever benefit to share that with others. So I'm going to recite that, and you can recite after me if you'd like. I'll leave space to do that, and that'll be the close of our mindfulness session. May the practice I have just done be of benefit to others as well as myself. Thank you.